Hello everyone, Derek's Damn Toys back with another video, and today I finally felt like making it. I'm gonna show you guys my action figure collection, and now I guess you can say this is all of it unless you count Funko Pops, but I didn't feel like taking those off my shelf. But as you can see right here, this is my mock collection. This is what I keep in the box. Some of it may be a little bit dusty, but I've been busting my ass at work, and if you work a full-time job, you'll understand, and especially working 4 to 12, it's not fun. But anywho, just gonna kind of show you guys some of this stuff real quick. So right here I've got a Dragon Stars Broly from the Dragon Ball Super Broly movie. Obviously it said the name. I'm probably going to announce the figure either way. I don't know what series this is. It probably is in a line of something, as there's only 2 figures on the back, but I don't know. Either way, Broly's one of my favorite Dragon Ball characters. Same thing with Bardock. Picked up Super Saiyan Bardock. This has more figures in the wave, and it says Series 18 on the side, Series 17, so that makes a lot more sense. I don't know about the other one. We've got Minato from Naruto. I have the Kakashi from this set. I would love to have the Itachi Uchiha, but not trying to knock these down. Right here, I was very iffy on picking this up because every time I saw it in stores, I saw it with that weird shoulder displacement, but I don't really care. This Gaara figure is absolutely amazing looking. It's just that one weird package display issue, but it doesn't really bother me that much looking at it from afar. Gaara, one of my favorite anime characters, as you guys can tell by my hand tattoo. And then right here we've got Kakashi. I would love to have the Sasuke and or the Naruto in general, but I've never found them in stores, and I never really cared to see what they cost online. Now, getting to some of my favorite figures I have, because I'm a really big Spider-Man fan, so I'll go over Goku first. This is a pretty cool SH Figuarts. They had a lot of them at Target, and I've never owned an SH Figuarts. This is literally my only one, so maybe I'll pick up more in the future if I can ever find them, but probably won't. Anyway, screw it. We'll go with this one first. So we've got I want to say this is the Mark IV Iron Spider. I probably totally wrong on that. Mark III, so I was pretty close. I don't even know if there is a Mark IV, so what do you know? My bad for the yawn. But yeah, this is a pretty cool figure I picked up. As you could see how much I paid for it on the back. A little pricey, but it's a pretty damn cool look of Spider-Man, and I've never really found any other Spider-Man in the store. Coming to another one who I never thought I would find, Carnage. I love how it comes with the 2 different head sculpts to show 2 different eras of Carnage, because this is just the introduction look, and then this is what he looks like in the Maximum Carnage comics, if I recall correctly. I'm not like a surefire like Spider-Man guy. I can't say everything accurately, so I'd be wrong if I said I did. But now that we've got all those out of the way, let's get into some of this wrestling figure collection. And trust me, it is really big. Just took the lid off of it. Now, let's start off with this guy. We've got the Defining Moments, Razor Ramon. Probably one of my favorite figures in my collection. The head sculpt's a little messy, but that's because I, played with my figures over the years, and I can't even remember when that came out, but still a really good figure nonetheless. I think there's a black smudge on his face that was not there when I moved in, but maybe I'll have to wash a couple of them up. And right here, I can't exactly remember what series this is a part of, but I picked up this Triple H at a Dollar General. My buddy had worked there once upon a time, and he saw action figures there, and he was like, hey man, if you see any that you may want, I don't know how long they may be here, but I know you collect these. And I was like, can you pick me up that Triple H? I've got the cash for you. Whenever you come over, I'll give you whatever you paid for it. And, well, obviously, as you can see, I have it, so. Now, one of my favorite figures that I have in my collection, sadly, it's not the original one, but this is, I want to say, the entrance grades? Or is it? No, this is another Defining Moments figure. This is the Defining Moments Undertaker that is a repaint, I guess you could say. It doesn't really have too many differences between the San Diego Comic-Con version, but I didn't go to San Diego Comic-Con, nor did I know that figure existed until I got that one and looked into it. Now, mind you, I'm probably not going to keep all of these standing, but we'll try to see how many we can keep standing as time goes by, because this is going to take a while. This is a fix-up cane I made. I took a basic, 2010 era cane head sculpt, because that's one of my favorite versions of Kane. I took the glove and a Undertaker cuff for his gloves, because I thought that would look a little bit more pleasing aesthetically. Whether you like it or not, I'm gonna keep it that way. And I don't think there's anything else that's different besides the other arm, and that's because I did own the original Ringside Collectibles figure. I mean, I still technically do, but it's kind of made into a somewhat of a fix-up. If you've watched a previous video, we'll get into that later. But let's see. I do not remember what Elite Series this is, but this is an Elite Series Junkyard Dog. Sadly, I do not have the chain. I don't know what happened to it, but when I was younger, I also had nephews that would like to take my figures and stuff like that, so I'm sure they're watching this as I've showed them my channel. And if you are, hey guys, maybe leave a comment in the comment section below. A Defining Moments figure that I also don't have all the accessories for. Hulk Hogan. Controversial figure. I got this before all the, all the insensitive words were said, I guess you could say. Still a nice figure. Will I ever have another new Hulk Hogan? No. I don't ever plan on picking up another Hulk Hogan. And this is the original Elite series. To be honest, again, I don't know. Boss Man. Big Boss Man. And I know it's the original one because I got this figure way before they re-released it in the... What was it? Was it a Legend series, or maybe it was the Greatest Hits? I don't know. I know they re-released that figure, though. Let's try to just continue the trend of AEW figures for now, I guess. So, this is a fix-up of the Elite, probably like 60 something Randy Orton that's in the blue tights, one of my favorite Randy Orton attires. And it's not a figure I own, but that one like WrestleMania Randy Orton, I took the head sculpt off of that and the hands, and yeah, that fix up looks a hell of a lot better in my opinion. We have a figure I've reviewed on the channel and one of my highest rated reviews. We've got Matt Riddle. Eventually we'll get into the person who was in the other half of that video. I still don't know if I should try to do double reviews, or my bad if you heard my finger pop, or if I should just do single reviews, because I mean, if I do double reviews, I could review a figure that you may not want to see and a figure that you do want to see. But at the same time, I'd rather just keep them separated, and then that way, if it's a figure you don't want to see, you'll see it visually. Anyway, here's another Undertaker. I'm trying to straighten up his legs real quick. It doesn't really matter, but this is, I guess you could say, a fix-up. Now, the head sculpt that was on this, I had put it on a different Undertaker. I don't think I even have that Undertaker anymore. But the head sculpt I put on this one, and I put boots on it. I don't even think this is accurate height, but maybe I'll find the boots one day and put the figure kind of back together. But that's an interesting Undertaker. Here we've got Angel Garza. Not much to say about him. Someone who's recently made a return to WWE as of late, Carl Anderson. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna mention whatever Elite series or whatever unless I do know which one it is. I know some of these are recent, but it's hard to keep track when you've been a figure collector for so long. We've got Bronson Reed. Ringside Collectibles, Stone Cold Steve Austin. I think this was a greatest hits or a best of pay-per-view Jeff Hardy. Not exactly sure. Getting into some AEW figures now. We've got Evil Uno from Unrivaled Series 3 or 4. Could pretty much get all the figures I own out of the way for that series, because here's the Brody Lee from the same series. Here's the John Silver, which sadly mine has a little bit of a rattle and it came like that. I just didn't care enough to complain the ringside because I bought it damaged packaging. So I feel like they probably would have just been like, yeah, well, that's probably kind of your fault for buying damaged package. But anyways, we're probably going to have to start knocking some of these figures down. We've got that. What was it? I don't even know. The new John Cena that just came out. Oh, almost dropping some. We've got an Elite Series Big Show. Probably not going to be the only one you see here, but this is probably my favorite one. Here we've got Big Cass. Ooh, yeah, I don't think he's gonna stand. Yeah, no. Timber, I guess. Like I said, these figures weren't gonna stand the whole time. Anyways, here we've got Unmatched Lance Archer. Sadly, I don't own the Chase. We've got Wardlow. We've got Hangman Adam Page. We've got the most recent Elite RVD. I do also own the old one, but I took the head sculpt off of it so I could interchange it with this one. And actually, I'll just pull that out now. As you can see, I fixed up the knee pads on both of them. I don't have another open set, or else I'd have an open set on that one. But yeah, I also customized the arms a little bit. So these ones technically have the open hands for this one. But yeah, that's whatever. I would like to pick up another one of these one of these days just for pure display purposes. Here's yet another Undertaker. Legend Series Paul Orndorff. This is, at least I want to say I got that right. Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff. Not going to be the only time you see him technically. We've got one half of the Viking Raiders, or, War Machine, or War Raiders, whatever the hell you want to call them. I personally like to call them War Machine. Here's the other half of War Machine. Here's a pretty laughable custom of Zack Ryder. I made that when I was like 13 years old out of an Elite Dolph Ziggler, and it got chewed up by a dog, which is why you can see that line right there. And on the other side, you can see some teeth marks. Would like to pick up an actual good Elite of Zack Ryder, but here we've got the Elite Kushida. We've got Ringside Collectibles Walter. We've got like a WrestleMania Build-A-Figure, I want to say, of Matt Hardy. I don't know what it would have been a Build-A-Figure to if it was. Here's a pretty beat up Elite Rich Swann. My nephews like to play with that one a lot. So didn't I, but we won't get into that. One of my Elite Samoa Joes. Here we've got Kurt Angle in a pretty weird attire, but I never found the other one, so that's the only one I have. Here we've got an Elite Triple H. I want to say it's pretty much still together for the most part. Maybe the boots are different, but here we've got Otis. we've got Retribution Mustafa Ali. Do not own any other Mustafa Ali. Here's an Elite Bo Dallas with a hand swap to look more like the packaging did, and a knee pad swap. And sadly, I cannot find the white knee pads that originally came with him, so he's kind of going to stay like that for a little while. Here we've got an Elite Liv Morgan. Here's an Elite Karrion Kross, or Killer Kross, if you knew him like that on the indies. Here's a Stu Grayson. From the rest of that wave, I do not own the Anna Jay, so do not be expecting the rest of that wave. Here's one half of the Dudley Boys with a hand swap. Bubba Ray Dudley, or Bully Ray, as he's known as in TNA or Impact as of late, because he did return, as far as I'm aware of. Here is an Elite John Morrison with the old Elite John Morrison t-shirt. I did own the old one, but I gave that to my nephew. Here's an Elite Lince Dorado. Do not own any of the other Lucha House Party figures, which is sad because I would love to own the Grand Metalik. Here's the most recent Elite Kevin Owens. Here's an Elite Umaga. I would love to own the Royal Rumble one. Maybe get two of them and get one of these and do a torso swap to get all the recent tattoos. Let's see. Starting to reach the bottom of the toe on one side. Here's the Elite. I think this was like 39 Tyson Kidd. I'm probably wrong on that, but I know that's a pretty old Tyson Kidd. Here's the Build-A-Figure Paul Ellering. I do not have the other head sculpt on it and or the puppet. I don't think I own the puppet at all, if I'm going to be honest, but here's the most recent Elite T-Bar. Here's Legend Series, like, I think that was 14, I don't know. Legends Series Eddie Guerrero. Here is Crownless King Booker. Let's see. Same reason as the RVD. Here's a Headless Elite. Headless Elite Daniel Bryan. Titus O'Neil Royal Rumble figure. Just try to push some of these back because this pile is getting a little hefty here. Here is an Elite Series Christian that's a little beat up, and it's got an arm swap and a hand swap, if I recall. Here's a Elite Ryback, the only one I own. Let's see. Here's a Elite Miz. I'm sure you would know what Elite Miz this is. I think I have a head swap on this as well, but to be honest, I don't know. Here's the China figure that came with the Paul Ellering head sculpt and puppet, but I do not care enough about the puppet. And technically, I think I might have threw out the package with the puppet in it, so I don't know if I do have it. Here's a Best of Pay-Per-View with a arm swap Curtis Axel. Here's a Dean Ambrose with an arm swap. I think they're different skin tone compared to the head sculpt and stuff, but that's kind of just how it be. Let's see. Here's a custom Eric Rowan with MMA gloves, because I don't know why, but I thought that'd be an interesting look. He's also got one of the Luke Harper like bandanas on, because I thought that'd be a nice little touch for the tag team look, because I do have a Luke Harper in here. And if I can get this done, as you can see, there's the Ringside Collectibles Kane torso. And I'm not going to remove the whole thing, but I'm assuming you guys can assume what the rest of the body looks like. We've got an Elite Mark Henry, and there's a little bit of blue paint on this because when I started my I want to customize my figures phase, not that I still don't, but I just kind of do a majority of small fix-ups. I don't really do paint like that anymore unless it's to like fix a head sculpt or fix paint on like a part of the attire. And that's just if I even really care. But yeah, that Elite Mark Henry. Here we've got the Viscera Elite with no jacket on, and that's just because it plays a hell of a lot better, and it is literally just the King Mabel, but it's got a little bit of that crap in there for the jacket on it, but that's whatever. Doesn't really bother me that much. Here's the Ringside Collectibles Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt. And I do have the packaging for that one with all of the puppets, but I don't know where the packaging is at the moment because, still moving in. Here's an Elite X-Pac. I would love to pick up the most recent one that's in the NWO attire. And that's just because I still need a couple of NWO figures that I would like to have. Here, we've got the kind of matchup with that Randy Orton, a blue Batista. That might be the only Batista I have. I'm not exactly sure. I should own another one, but we'll see. Here we've got the Legend Series Hurricane with a different hand on the one side. Thought that'd be an interesting look for display purposes. Don't know if it'd be accurate, but that's okay. Here we've got an Elite Ricochet with a knee pad swap. I put knee pads on it, and I did remove the logo behind the knee. Just because that crap bothered me. Here's another one, but not the end of my AEW collection. We have the AEW Unrivaled Series 2 Dustin Rhodes. Here we've got a custom retro / modern Brock Lesnar. Kind of what I would have envisioned he would have came back looking like back in, 2014? Here we have the other half of my most popular, viewed video. I guess you could say the Elite Series 93 Cesaro. Here we've got one half of American Alpha, Chad Gable. We've got the other half of American Alpha, Jason Jordan. I'll start trying to push some figures back again. Got some stuff on that side, we can push them off too. Oh. Going back to that shitty custom, here's the original figure that I used for that Dolph Ziggler Elite Series something. I tried, but I brain farted. Here's why I said this was not the last of that Paul Orndorff figure that I own, because I made the other one into a Chris Masters. Because before I started the channel, when I would mess around with my figures every so often, I wanted a custom Chris Masters to mess around with, so I figured that'd be a decent look, and I could just portray him as the second coming of Mr. Wonderful. And I actually did take the second head sculpt off of him, and I put it onto a suited body. Maybe we'll see that in here. I'm not exactly too sure. As we get deeper and deeper into the rabbit hole, we've got another Firefly Funhouse Bray Wyatt, but this one is the Elite Bray Wyatt. A little weird, but I don't know. It's probably the like orangish brown pants with the top. Sorry if you hear my radiator in the background, or my furnace. I don't know why I said my radiator. Here we've got the Elite Series Buddy Murphy, not the Chase one. Here we've got the D'Lo Brown figure that I've complained about a couple of times, and as you can see, it can actually sit down and use its legs because I fixed it. No D'Lo Brown syndrome in this house. We've got an Elite JBL with a hand swap. I actually had made this into a Drew McIntyre custom before I had a Drew McIntyre figure. I still technically do, but haven't gotten it out yet, so you guys haven't seen it. Here we've got the only NWO figure I own, the Elite Scott Hall. I can't remember if that was like a special series or not. If you can't catch the drift by now, most of these are going to be Elites. You might have like a couple of basics in here, but here we've got Brody Lee, and yes, I did put the world title on him. And I took the tank top off and I put a Rock tank top on, the Rock that has the like jogging, like sweatpants, whatever those are, onto him, and I thought that makes the action figure move around a lot better. Speaking of that Rock figure, here he is with a I Bring It shirt. Do not own the original Rock figure that comes with. I got lucky and my cousin gave me the accessory once upon a time. Let's see. You know what, let's start digging in towards the back a little bit more. Here's the last Retribution figure I own so far. The Reckoning, or Mia Yim as I'd prefer to say, because Mia Yim is a way better name. Here's a Wade Barrett with a elbow pad swap, and that's because instead of like taking a red elbow pad, if I could find one, I figured a white one would look a little bit cooler. Ooh, let me not point my camera over that way. My island / desk is a little dirty, and that's because I haven't bothered to clean it off since I got home and or the girlfriend left. So anyway, no excuse for my laziness. Here's the Elite Series whatever Doc Gallows that goes with the Carl Anderson. Here's one half of the Young Bucks, or 1/3 of the Elite. And I mean like the main Elite, no like side characters or past characters. Here's MJF, if you see him over there. At this rate, it's getting kind of tiresome to like show him on camera, so hopefully you guys see him in passing. Sorry for my laziness, I'm just getting a little tired. I may have to do this in 2 separate videos, and I'll just combine them into one, because holy crap. Anyway, here we've got the first basic and probably the whole box. I don't even know if there is anymore. That was a basic Scarlet to go with the Karrion Kross. Here's a fix-up Batista that I thought looked pretty interesting. Sadly, the hand is not the original hand that Batista head sculpt came with, but that's because when I got it, the hand was messed up and it snapped as soon as I took it out of the package, so I did something with it. Here's a Build-A-Figure Best of Pay-Per-View John Laurinaitis. Mr. People Power. Power to the people. Anyway, here we've got a Legend Series Jake the Snake Roberts. Here we've got a fix-up, I guess you could say, John Cena. Something I kind of wouldn't mind doing with the other John Cena that's in my collection. Getting like the original formula and swapping the arms. But it's mainly because I like the shorts better. They have a better posability to them than the ones that are on the figure originally, and that's just because the feet will get really loose after a while. Anyway, here's a Elite Series whatever Daniel Bryan with the head sculpt. I tend to interchange between the two attires. Here is one of my Elite Shinsuke Nakamura's. Here is the other Elite Shinsuke Nakamura I own. Here is old Elite Kevin Owens with I think there's a boot swap and a head sculpt swap for sure. I know the head sculpt swapped. Here's a Triple H with a head sculpt swap, and you'll see where the basic Triple H is maybe in a little bit. Just because here's another basic I have, which was a basic Daniel Bryan that I put a basic Finley head sculpt onto. I use him in GM-ish scenarios sometimes. Here's a Elite Series Sami Zayn. I can't remember. I think that's 91. Here's another Elite Series Sami Zayn. I think that was a special series. I can't remember which one though. Got a little bit of an issue, as I can see the one problem of having my figures in a basement for a couple of months kinda has. There was a dead ant in my toe, so I guess it wasn't the most secure. Here we've got a Seth Rollins Elite. Not the only one you'll see. Here we've got an AEW Chris Jericho. We've got the other half of the Young Bucks, Matt Jackson. Here we've got another Seth Rollins Elite. I think I just had a voice crack there, but I'm not too sure. Here we've got an Elite Drew McIntyre. We've got a semi-disappointing AEW Kazarian. We've got a non-head sculpt having Jack Swagger, and that's just because I put the head sculpt onto his AEW figure. Looks kind of better, but the head's like a little small in my opinion, so I don't know how I feel about it. I just put the headband there. Here's an Elite Terry Funk. I think I'm gonna kind of just set my phone down for a quick second as I get some of these figures out. Try to move that off to the side. And actually, I'll be right back. I kind of have to do something really quick before I forget. Alrighty, now that I've readjusted the toe and I made sure my doors were locked, because, don't know why I forgot if I locked my doors or not, but always make sure your doors are locked, especially if you live in a bad neighborhood. Here's a custom Jon Moxley I made. Kind of looks decent, actually. I thought it looked pretty good. Maybe if I put some chest hair on it and got a AEW looking head sculpt of Moxley, or maybe his last head sculpt that came out. Excuse me. Here we've got the Legend Series 17, I think that was, Kane. Again, I probably should stop trying to list off the series names because I do not remember half of them. Here we've got the unrivaled, excuse me again, I kind of just burped. But there's a AEW unrivaled Kenny Omega, because I want to say that's what they are. The unmatched is the blue packaging. We've got a AEW Santana, one half of Proud and Powerful, or LAX. We've got the other half with Ortiz. I have them backwards. That's Santana, and that's Ortiz. Here we've got another Elite Jeff Hardy with a head swap and a t-shirt on it. Sadly, I do not own that figure as well. I gave that one to my nephew. Here we've got a 2-in-1. We've got both of the Lucha Brothers. Kind of sticking with that idea because I want to get through this video a little bit quicker. We've got another Seth Rollins, a Roman Reigns, and a Dean Ambrose / Jon Moxley, I guess you could say. A little bit of chest hair on this one. He's got CM Punk hand tape, and that's just because I thought that'd be an interesting look for possible future pictures or pick fed reasons. This Roman is the main Roman I use for play. I just have a shield vest on it because the last time I messed around with Roman, I was playing around with the shield. And I do technically own the original Shield Dean Ambrose, but he is currently my setup referee. Hopefully I'll get a referee shirt at some point to make that look a little bit better. Here we've got a fix-up Rock with the updated tattoo. Used the sweatpants Rock for that, of course, if you couldn't tell. Here's a weird little fix-up, but I used the arms on this Finn Balor for the I want to say it was for the Sami Zayn with the Cody Rhodes Elite jacket on it. And I just decided why not put gold dust arms, because it's a red and gold and white and black attire. So the gold for the gold, and then put a couple of wrist tape hand sculpts on it. I kind of wouldn't mind putting normal hands on it without wrist tape, or maybe doing one with wrist tape, kind of like how I have this figure, my Elite Edge. And that's because, you know, with this attire, he did wear one hand with wrist tape. Here's the other half of the Dudley Boys, Devon Dudley. Here's sadly my only Elite R-Truth. I would technically have another one if my old Elite R-Truth didn't break, hence the reason why I picked this one up. And well, I did own the Elite 8 one, but I gave that one to my nephew. So, as you can see, that's a trend I tend to have. I'll give some of my figures to my nephew just because I can. There is the AEW Scorpio Sky, the other half to SCU. Because, you know, we still haven't gotten a Christopher Daniels to go with either one of our SCU figures. Here we've got a fix-up William Regal Elite. I put Hunter Harris Helmsley, I can't remember what it was, boots on here. And then I gave him kind of his like basic look, but with an elbow pad. And I thought that was a pretty cool fix-up. Still probably one of my like favorite figures I own. Here's an Elite Bam Bam Bigelow. In my setup, I have the other Elite Bam Bam Bigelow I own. But I'm not gonna mess up my setup. If anything, I'll probably show off the setup in the end of the video if you haven't seen the community post about it. Because, you know, I do post the Twitter and Instagram every so often. Here's an Elite Fiend figure with the old Bray Wyatt jacket on it. Well, a older Bray Wyatt that I do own. So there's a 2-for-1. But yeah, going back to the Twitter thing really quick, you know, I do own a Twitter and a Instagram account for the YouTube channel. So if you guys are old enough to use it, because, you know, this is a toy channel, I wouldn't be shocked if there are kids watching, but, you know, just be advised if I do curse, because every so often one will slip out. But yeah, go give those a follow. Here we've got a semi-fix-up, semi-mess-up of a Yoshitatsu Elite. Here we've got a Elite Shawn Michaels. Technically not the only one I own. I own like 3 of them, but you're not going to see one of them in this video. That's just because I don't care enough to take that one out of the fodder bag. Here we've got an Elite Ty Dillinger, the only one we ever got that I know of, because I don't recall not ever getting another one. Here we've got an Elite Sin Cara, the only one I own. Let's see. Here we've got an Elite Neville, or Pac as he's known as in AEW. Here we've got an Elite AJ Styles. We've got a Ringside Collectibles, The List, Chris Jericho with a hand swap. Here we've got the AEW Cody Rhodes. I want to get the Supreme Collection Cody Rhodes. I feel like that would be really cool. Here we've got a Paul Heyman. That's the Build-A-Figure with, well, it's technically the arms and the head sculpt of a Build-A-Figure Paul Heyman on a JR body. And that's because I never got the rest of it. But I'd rather use it for Paul Heyman. So, say it looks weird, whatever. I don't really care. Maybe I'll pick up that 3-pack with him, Brock, and Roman. Here we've got an Elite Big Show. Well, another Elite Big Show. Here we've got a fix-up Sheamus with a knee pad and a head swap. Here we've got that other Elite Shawn Michaels I was talking about with a head swap. And I think an arm swap as well, but I'm not exactly sure. Here we've got that basic Paul Orndorff I was talking about. Here we've got an Elite Sting. We've got another Elite Sting with an arm swap. Technically, I also swapped the hands on both of these two, but oh yeah, and with this Sting, I did do an arm swap with him to give him white cuffs. Here's another 2-for-1. We've got 2 Elite Apollo Cruises, one the original Elite and the other one the most recent. Here we've got an Elite Braun Strowman with a removable shirt and jacket, of course. Let's see. Yeah, there we go. We're finally getting towards the end of this, almost an hour in. Here we've got an Elite Samoa Joe. Here we've got an Elite Bobby Lashley. An Elite AJ Styles. We've got an Elite Evan Bourne. An Elite Finn Balor. No swaps on that Finn Balor, by the way. Ringside Collectibles Brian Kendrick. Now, here we've got my promo gear Roman, which is also a modern day Roman. My bad if I'm yawning. I'm getting really tired. It's almost 2:30. So here we've got an entrance greats Elias. A best of pay-per-view with a head swap and I think maybe a torso swap, CM Punk. Sadly, the only one I own. Here we've got an Elite Rusev. To match with the Elite Rusev, we've got the Aiden English to go with it. We're starting to finally wind down here. Let's do a 3-for-1 here. We've got Big E, Kofi, and Xavier Woods. The Bootios 3-pack. And the Kofi and Xavier do have head swaps. And that's just because it's not that I didn't like the other two, but I feel like the Kofi head swap. Well, there goes Xavier. The Kofi head sculpt I put on the Kofi. I thought that one looked a hell of a lot cooler on the body. Not that the original head sculpt didn't look good, but when I did it, I was like 14. I never cared enough to turn back, so here we've got an Elite Rey Mysterio, an Elite Aleister Black, we've got an Elite Keith Lee, we've got the Elite Goldberg that goes with the ring I use for my setup. Ooh, well, here we go. Now I'm starting to drop them now that we're getting close. Here's the original Elite page. Here's the Elite Candice LeRae. Here's an AEW Darby Allin. And the last of the AEW figures. Here we've got a 2-for-1. We've got a Seth Rollins with a jacket fix-up, and we've got a custom Seth Rollins that I made out of the original heel turn Seth Rollins. I made it a blue attire with a knee pad swap and a head swap and an arm swap technically, but I can't remember where the arms came from. Here we've got Ric Flair. Defining moments Ric Flair, I want to say. We have an Elite Santos Escobar, or I can't remember what his name was before he came to WWE. I know it was something different compared to what he has now. Here we've got an Elite Pete Dunne. We've got an Elite Andrade Cien Almas, or Andrade El Idolo with his mask entrance head sculpt. We've got an Elite MVP. I want to say I technically own another one, either that or I might have gave it to my nephew. I'm not too sure, but it's not in here because at last, and finally not least, we have a Damian Sandow, the first ever Elite Damian Sandow at that. But now that we've accomplished the end of my toe, and literally the end of my toe, that is my main collection. Now I do have some smaller like fodder figures or maybe some stuff that I have in my crowd, but I'm not pulling out the stuff that I have in my crowd. So you know what, let's just pause this real quick and I'll show you my setup, and I'm not going to pull out the fodder figures, but I'll show you some of the ones that are in there. So, as you can see, here's some of the fodder figures, the Shawn Michaels that I didn't necessarily want to show. There's a receipt for something. I hope my card was not on that receipt if it did show, because then this is going to get removed out of the video. But we've got a couple of normal figures up in here. Maybe some just with missing hands. My original Elite Chris Masters. Of course, not an accurate attire compared to anything he's ever worn. But yeah, as you can see, some of them just... It's not that they weren't good enough to put in the video, but some of them were also display pieces for this. As you can see, I've got more figures, mainly basics over there. And yeah, as you can see, there's the Bam Bam Bigelow I was talking about. And then here we've got a couple of more with a Dragon Ball Z figure, just because I really don't care. Don't bother me. If it bothers you that I have a DBZ figure in my crowd, I hope you guys can't wait for when I find my Ghost Rider figure. Anyway, so yeah, this is the end of my collection as far as figures go. I hope you guys like the fact that I've got a little bit of the bubbly in the background, because I am old enough to consume alcohol. And by the way, here's my referee, and it's got the Shield logo right there if you can see it under the shirt. For now, he's got a Daniel Bryan shirt on, and that's just because I don't have a referee shirt, as I've mentioned probably like 3 times in this video now. But yeah, before we drag this video out any longer, let me know what video you guys might want to see next. Maybe I'll do a action figure accessory video and show you guys like some of my t-shirts and stuff like that I own for my action figures. And maybe, just maybe, if I can find the time to actually do it and devote the time to actually get it done, because I've got the setup, maybe I could start doing a pick fed, and we could do like a roster draft where maybe I choose like some figures out of my toe and we draft a roster out of those figures, or maybe we just take the whole thing and we split it up into like a roster of like 2, because I feel like trying to do 3 separate shows in a pick fed form would be way too much. After all, one of the reasons why I started this channel, MDT, has a fun time trying to make episodes for 2 pick fed rosters. And that ain't a jab. I really hope we see some more pick fed stuff come from MDT's pick fed, because oh man, I waited for that for such a long time. I watched every pick fed episode. MDT's one of the best figure reviewers out there. But maybe one of these days I could do like a, I don't know, I could do like a Q&A where maybe you get to know me a little bit more. But that'll have to come when I have more people watch my videos and actually get a little bit more of a community going. Right now, that's just a thought. But yeah, on that note, like the video if you liked it. Don't if you don't. It's not gonna bother me either way. I kind of just do this as a hobby. But if I can get a community behind me, why not? Anyways, on that note, subscribe for future content. I'm out to play some God of War Ragnarok. Peace, yo.